Hi, Mark here, Thursday, February the 19th, going on 8 a.m. Eastern. That's going on 1 p.m. GMT. US session about to get underway and into the afternoon portion of the European session. Let's have a look at the US dollar index today. Another strong day. Uptrend is continuing, following up from yesterday's strong push higher. Support 97.51, resistance 97.78. Buyers now looking at the highs from beginning of February at 97. 88, 89, looking up at that 98 level on the upside. We'll see whether that can be maintained through the US session, or if we get a turnaround and sellers do step in. I've got support sitting at 97.51. Certainly, US dollar is on the front foot to start today's US session. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. We're looking at the futures market. Wall Street opens up in an hour and a half. Yesterday, S&P did fight back after 3 days of not being of very limited activity, or rather, should I say, we saw the activity and the volatility, but came back to settle around that 6,850 mark. Yesterday, we saw buyers step in and a strong push higher, unable to maintain so far today. I've got support at 6,865. I've got resistance at 6,912. We'll see whether sellers continue with this push lower and a sell-off once the US session and Wall Street get open, or if buyers do step in again and look up at the 6,900 resistance level. Let's have a look at gold. Gold very flat, fought back nicely yesterday. So far, not much movement today. Very narrow range here. I've got 4,958 as my support, 5,022 as my resistance. So far, buyers have been unable to maintain above that 5,000 mark today. We'll see if buyers retest the 5,000 mark and can break above this resistance level, or if sellers do step in and look to maintain prices below the 5,000 level. Pretty flat for now, waiting perhaps for the US session to get underway, and bearing in mind that the US dollar is strengthening the way it is. We haven't really seen the inverse relationship play out. Strong US dollar, weak gold. So gold is holding its own so far this morning. Let's have a look at Brent oil. But here, geopolitical events out of Geneva, we haven't seen much progress or any positive news come out of the US, Russia, Ukraine talks, the US, Iran talks. Neither have really led to anything that's comforting enough to see oil being sold off like we did 2 days ago. In fact, the opposite, demand for oil yesterday was strong, and today we're seeing it strong again, trading above that $70 level, which I believe is significant. We've got resistance at almost the $71 level right now. Support for today sitting at 69.67. We'll see whether this demand for oil does continue. Buyers break above the test and break above the $71 level. Or if we're going to see some type of a turnaround and a sell-off, we need to hear something positive, rhetoric-wise, I believe, from those geopolitical meetings and the concerns that we have, but that hasn't happened as yet. Hence the demand for oil, and we see the prices going higher. Bitcoin very, very flat, very little to see this morning, sitting at yesterday's close. I've got support at 66.2 thousand. I've got resistance at 67.2 thousand dollar range. Nothing's happened yet. We have had over the past 4 days lower highs, lower lows, trying to hold its own today so far, but buyers unable to get above this resistance level. Buyers looking for some kind of a meaningful bounce up of this area to get back to at least test the 70,000 on the upside. Hasn't yet happened. Sellers looking to break below this support level. Buyers managed to guard this area in the middle of February. We'll see whether that can happen again, or if sellers break below this 66,000, looking back down at the closer to the 60,000 support area. Good trading. Keep that discipline, and I'll see you at end of day.